Hello, and welcome to our lesson on developing a worldwide sourcing program. This segment will cover countertrade requirements. Countertrade is a specialized form of international trade that has increased over the last 25 years. This broad term refers to all international and domestic trade where buyer and seller have at least a partial exchange of goods for goods. This exchange can involve a complete trade of goods for goods or some partial payment to a firm in cash. Although many companies have established a countertrade office or department, purchasing is sometimes involved in negotiating and managing countertrade agreements, including determining the market or sales value of countertrade deals or selecting appropriate products to fulfill countertrade requirements. A country imposes countertrade demands for several reasons. First, some countries lack the hard currency to purchase imported goods. Developing nations often require Western multinationals to accept goods as at least partial payment for sales within their country. Another reason for countertrade requirements is that countertrade provides a means of selling products in markets to which a company may have otherwise lacked access. Sourcing in a particular country expedites the company's sales into that specific country. Countertrade demands often arise when several factors are present. Items involving large dollar amounts, such as military contracts, are prime candidates for countertrade. Companies can also expect countertrade demands from a country when that country's goods have a low or non-differentiated perception in the world marketplace. This may include items available from many sources, commodity-type items, or items not perceived as technologically superior or having higher quality than other available products. Highly valued items, or those sought after by the buying country, are less susceptible to countertrade demands. The 5 predominant types of countertrade arrangements are barter, counterpurchase, offset, buyback, switch trading. The oldest and most basic form of trading is barter, a process that involves the straight exchange of goods for goods with no exchange of currency. Trading parties must enter into a single contract to fulfill trading requirements. Despite its apparent simplicity, barter is one of the least practiced forms of countertrade today. Barter differs from other forms of countertrade in several ways. Barter involves no exchange of money between parties. Next, a single contract formalizes a barter transaction, whereas other forms of countertrade require 2 or more contracts. Finally, barter arrangements usually relate to a specific transaction and cover a shorter period than other arrangements. Counterpurchase requires a selling firm to purchase a specified amount of goods from the country that purchased its products. The amount of counterpurchase is a percentage of the original sale amount. This requirement usually ranges from 5 to 80% of the total value of the transaction, but can exceed 100% under some circumstances. This form of countertrade requires a company to fulfill its countertrade requirement by purchasing products within a country unrelated to its primary business. The countertrading company identifies possible purchase items to satisfy the countertrade requirement. The purchaser must market the unrelated goods or use a third party to assume those duties, which increases the transaction's complexity and cost. Offset agreements, closely related to counterpurchase, require the seller to purchase some agreed-upon percentage of goods from a country over a specified period. However, offset agreements allow a company to fulfill its countertrade requirement with any company or industry in the country. The selling firm can purchase items related directly to its business requirements, which offers the purchaser greater flexibility. An example of an offset purchase is a U.S. aircraft manufacturer that obtains a contract to sell planes in Spain and agrees to purchase products worth 100% of the contract value in Spain. Some countertrade authorities also refer to this type of countertrade as compensation trading. Buyback occurs when a firm physically builds a plant in another country or provides a service, equipment, or technology to support the plant. The firm then agrees to take a portion of the plant's output as payment. Countries lacking foreign exchange for payment but rich in natural resources can benefit from this countertrade arrangement. Opportunities exist for Western companies to provide the plant, equipment, and expertise to bring resources to market. This form of countertrade involves using a third-party trader to sell earned counterpurchase credits. Switch trading occurs when a selling company agrees to accept goods from the buying country as partial payment. If the selling company does not want the goods from the country, it can sell, at a discount, the credits for these goods to a third-party trader, which sells or markets the goods. The trader charges a fee for handling the transaction. The original selling company must consider the discount and third-party fee when evaluating the total cost of a countertrade arrangement with a country. Purchasing's role in countertrade will not be as visible as marketing's. Purchasing is usually a reactive participant that must identify supply sources to help satisfy any countertrade requirements a company has incurred by selling its product. This is the end of this segment of our lesson. In the next segment, we shall discuss evaluating cost associated with international purchasing. This course is presented to you by South Europe College. Thank you for listening, and see you on our next segment.